Amolo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this, in the majority opinion, has singularly failed Kenyans and must carry a badge of shame on behalf of this House. For the avoidance of doubt, Mr. Speaker, Kenyans must know that the 6 members of the Kenya Kwanza MPs in the team and their surrogates in Jubilee all voted to save the minister. It is only the 4 from Azimio who stood with Kenyan farmers. And so the farmers of Kenya must know who between Kenya Kwanza and Azimio are truly their friends. Mr. Speaker, it is good that Parliament spoke and spoke in a bipartisan manner. So we as a House are vindicated, but the committee has failed to respect the House as a whole. In proper democracies, the vote by Parliament in itself should have invited resignation by the minister without even waiting for the committee to do its work. But we are not in a proper democracy under this regime. Mr. Speaker, what now must save farmers is the action by the President. The President can act and reflect the wishes of this House by the stroke of a pen. He does not need this House to resolve that issue. Mr. Speaker, secondly, it must be noted, and some members had questioned the wisdom of Article 152. Article 152 mirrors Article 167 in terms of the procedure for removal of a judge. Only that in that article, the Judicial Service Commission plays the role we played, and the tribunal plays the role that the committee did. It is expected under the Constitution that the committee would be a quasi-judicial committee that will look into the merit of the issue. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, the committee, most of its members went with a preconception because they'd already spoken here against that motion. And instead of therefore exercising independence of mind, they went with a fixed thought. Mr. Speaker, we must learn a lesson. Number one, we should not allow the majority leader to sabotage such a motion as he did in this case. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the mover should be the one to suggest the names of those constituting the select committee. And more importantly, number three, Mr. Speaker, we should ensure that the members are knowledgeable, they have integrity, and they are independent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Tenda Amolo. Rindikiri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You have 3 minutes.
I would like to support the verdict that has been passed by the Select Committee led by their chairman, Madam Waku. Mr. Speaker, I want to remind this House, every year we celebrate what is called Easter. Mr. Speaker, during crucifixion of Jesus, the multitude called for crucifixion of Jesus, and they said, let's release Barnabas. Mr. Speaker, what we are hearing now is people calling for crucifixion of Jesus and saying release Barnabas. Mr. Speaker, we cannot pretend as a House. I am very saddened to hear the Vice Chair of this committee, a man of respect and a mentor, disowning the sittings. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Vice Chairman sat for that committee for 3 days, including the report lighting, and at no single time did he withdraw from the position of Vice Chairmanship. Mr. Speaker, the decision of the Chair and the decision of the Vice Chair are one and the same. So we cannot play for the public gallery. Mr. Speaker, we cannot dictate terms as what the President of this Republic should do. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Karintoli cannot be sacrificed for doing what is good. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Karintoli did not say these 3 charges be brought against him. Mr. Speaker, the mover, first of all, he totally failed to prove the case himself. The failure of this, the failure of the mover of the motion, he brought matters that he could not even himself substantiate. He went ahead to call for evidence support, calling the PS, calling the MD of Care Chemicals. Mr. Speaker, He was looking for evidence. He should have sought for good evidence before proceeding to bring the motion in Parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, let's abide by the rules of Parliament. Let's abide by the rules that we have set ourselves. Mr. Speaker, it is a shame to play for the public gallery to sacrifice a one person who has a track record of good performance in this country. And Mr. Speaker, we shall not listen to the public. We shall listen to the rules of this Parliament. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Junaid Mohammed. Yes. For avoidance of doubt, I ask your leaders, and this happens in every democracy, on certain issues, the leaders have a discretion to tell the speaker who they think should speak for them on a matter.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
Your leaders,
today is the third day